Welcome to Treeby, Western Australia. Behind me is the Melrose Platinum. It is a 4x2 with a theatre on a 375 square metre block. We've got a 12.5 metre frontage and the build covers 255 square metres. Let's head inside and take a look. Hi guys, welcome to another walkthrough video. The reason why I'm creating these is to help you in your design journey. We're going to take time to break down this floor plan, look at the finer details, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. All right, so talking about the front facade, there's really two main elements that stand out to me straight away. The first is the corner window, and the second is the timber cladding to the ceiling, which looks really nice. It's usually made up of a marine grade timber, but you will still need to upkeep it, and there is a lot of maintenance involved, especially if you're in a coastal area. Other than that, we've got some projecting brickwork on the right-hand side and some contrasting render, but nothing too crazy going on. And I think that that's going to be a really big draw point for this home, is that it's probably really achievable for a lot of people because it's very suited to a very popular block size. Okay, so we're in the entry point. We've got our master bedroom here and then the entry door here. I love these Della Vita doors. So they're on promotion at the moment. They come with every single house. They've got a digital lock. They're 1200mm wide with an aluminium frame. Beautiful door. I don't have a problem with it at all. The only issue I do have is when we've upgraded the house ceilings heights to 34 or 31, and we've got our 28 course door frames. When you do have a door frame this close to the entry door, the head heights of the door frames don't match up. You know, it's not really a big deal, but I think if you are a stickler for detail and you want everything to be absolutely, perfect and in line, this is something to be aware of. So this door, you're not paying anything extra for it, but if you do want to upgrade to a 28 course entry door frame, you are going to have to pay a decent chunk of money. For some people, it's going to be worth it, but if not, just be aware that when you do have two different door heights this close together, it may be a bit of an issue for you if you've got OCD. Coming through, so we've got a bit of a blank wall here, so it's kind of like a dog leg or an L-shaped entry just to give yourself a little bit more privacy. We've got a drop zone, or it's more of a feature shelving on this side. Now this can actually be customized to be made wider, narrower. You can get rid of it completely because on the other side of this wall, we have the scullery. And when we get to that stage, you'll see that there's a custom shelf fit out there too, but it really gives you the flexibility to kind of add a feature here if you want to, or completely get rid of it and add more area into the scullery. So here we've got the master bedroom, a very standard size, about 4x4 meters. The only thing that's, I guess, a bit of a feature in this room is the recessed ceiling. You'd be expecting to pay around $3,500 for a feature like this, just for the recess on its own. So we're going up from 31 up to 34, and we've got the shadow line cornice there as well. So that's going to be another cost if you want to go for something like that. On the right-hand side, we've got our ensuite. So we've got still that dropped ceiling at 31 course, and then it recesses up again to 34 inside the ensuite, which is again a really nice feature. We've got our double vanity on this side, a really open plan walk-in robe here. The WC is tucked behind the robe, and then we've got our shower recess on this side. Some of the things that I'd like to talk about before we even enter the space is how open this is. Now, I know a lot of people are really going for that resort style, and in a display home, it looks absolutely stunning. But please keep in mind that if you have someone sleeping and you want to use the bathroom, or you're getting up at different times, there's not really going to be any way for you to turn any of these lights on without that light pouring into the master bedroom. So as much as I love the way it looks, for me personally, I wouldn't have my ensuite set up this way, just because, my wife and I, we're always up at different times, and it's really handy to be able to close off that area. The other thing that I'm going to talk about is this robe feature as well. So I've had some of my clients talk about how they weren't sure about having their clothes so close to the shower recess. I don't think it's an issue at all, especially because you're going to have a flumed exhaust fan directly above your shower. So there is that separation, but I think it's a really nice cozy design. I think it's a good use of space. If you really didn't like having your clothes as a part of the ensuite area, what you could do is you could block this off and then just have your entry to your robe on this side. So it is an easy fix. Coming into the robe section, so this is a Delavita robe fit out. And what you'll notice is in a lot of your plans, you'll just get a standard shelf and rail. If you are planning on doing a customized IKEA PAX system, this is really important for you to note down, and that is the standard nib walls here. They are only going to be about 500 mil deep. So your shelf and rail and your standard kind of included cabinetry, they're usually going to be about 450 mil deep. The IKEA PAX systems in Western Australia are 580 millimeters deep. So you're going to need at least a 600 mil nib wall either side, so here and here, to make sure that your PAX system can actually fit in without protruding out, because you also have to accommodate for the gyprock that goes on top of the walls. Back to our ensuite. What I really love about this is the type of travertine tiling that they've picked. They've actually used this throughout the home, which I think looks really stunning. They've been able to put this feature glass window here, and that's only possible because the Delavita luxury vanity is off center, right? So we've got this bit of bench space only to one side. If you're not upgrading to this particular vanity, this setup doesn't work quite as well. And this is going to be your main source of light into the ensuite. So if you're not putting this in, make sure that you've got another functional window in the space. I really do like this 2 meter high tiled wall. It is a really nice feature, especially covered in this type of tiling. And then of course, we've got a fixed panel on this side, and then this is a fully frameless fixed shower screen, which I think it looks really nice. Yeah, I think it's a really good layout, but that is our ensuite setup. On my right hand side here, we've got the theatre. So walking through into the theatre, this is a really standard theatre, nothing too crazy going on. We've got a recess up to 34, and then we've got our window on this side. So one thing to keep in mind is we have our garage in front of the theatre, and then the theatre carries on behind the garage. Why this is important to note is because we have a zero lot wall running the whole length or the depth of the garage and this theatre. So this wall and this joining wall on the garage side is a zero lot wall. So it's a boundary wall. So you're not going to have any access from your garage to the backyard. This is important for those that are looking at having that access, or maybe having a roller door to kind of get to the backyard from the garage side. That's not possible on this design if you are going for something like this. So just keep that in mind. So when you look through this window, it is simply into the backyard space. But yeah, this is our theatre. One thing I do like, and if you've watched my videos, you'll know I'm a massive fan of having the double leaf walls and the lintel as well. It's all thicker than what you would get in your standard floor plan. And again, it is costing extra, but it looks really nice. So I've just come through from where the theatre was into the kitchen and main living area. So my favourite thing about this floor plan is having the kitchen island bench facing our dining, facing the family, facing the alfresco. I'm a huge fan of having all of those elements stacked in a line. So I really do like this floor plan. The major differences that you'll notice about this kitchen is that we don't have a sink in the island bench, which I really like, I'm a big fan of. This is the Delavita contemporary kitchen. So that's the standard kind of setup for these kitchens. The one thing to be aware of with the contemporary kitchen is that it does not come with a pantry. So you'll need to have a walk-in pantry built into these kitchens or the floor plan that you're choosing to give you that storage space. We have a freestanding stove instead of the built-in 600mm ovens. And then we've got a separate bench space for your dishwasher recess and your sink with the glass with the window behind. Yeah, coming through here, we've got our scullery area, and we've got lots of different spots for shelves. So we've got 1, 2, 3 separate sections to build out that walk-in pantry. So Maddie, if you come in through this side, So remember on the entry, we were talking about that feature on the entry passageway. So that's actually this bit of brickwork on this side. So imagine if you wanted to make that a bigger drop zone or a bigger feature or even a bit of storage, you could delete this shelving and then we'd have our wall pulled across here. Basically, you just have a bigger section on that side. So this space and how you can customize it to suit your family's needs is really, really handy. Big fan of this setup. They've used the space quite well. Scullery, pantry, and then coming back through to the kitchen. So we've got our dining table here and then family on this side, and then for the display home, they've built kind of a study nook. So far with a lot of the clients that I've helped with this design and we've customized this floor plan, a majority of the time I've been getting rid of this space and just opening up this family area. So if you get rid of, this section of the wall, we can just open that right up. We do have a feature opening on this side, which to be fair, I haven't really kept. I've always sectioned that space off. That is leading to an activity area. We'll get to that in a minute. We have the TV recess, so I'll touch on that. One thing that's a little bit different about this one is that it's not sitting underneath the eaves. So you can see that the brickwork actually projects into the room. So ignoring all of the cabinetry, so this part is here, all the timber, all the wall cladding, achieve this look. What we have is we've got some brickwork on either side, so here, and we've got the bulkhead over the top, so it's really actually clear and easy to see because it's in that dark charcoal color. And also underneath we've got a plinth, so that's just brickwork built up, and it works really well in a floor plan like this because there's limited space. We can't actually build it out this way because there's not enough room. If you're limited on space, definitely the way to go. We avoid having to go out under the eaves. Coming through this passageway is the minor passageway to the rest of the house. So here we're going to find beds 2, 3, and 4, our minor bathroom, a powder room, and also the laundry. First up, we have bedroom number 2. There's nothing crazy going on here. It's just a minor bedroom in a very conventional spot. Again, talking about these robes. If you want to delete the shelf and rail to add a pack system in, you've got to add a bit more depth to this brickwork, otherwise the pack system will not fit. Just something to keep in mind. Coming through this section, we have bathroom. So in this bathroom, they've upgraded to have a double vanity. So this is the double luxury vanity on this side, bathtub, and our shower recess. I think it's a little bit excessive to have the double vanity in the bathroom, especially when we've got a full-size vanity in the powder room, but it is a display home. So next, we have our laundry and linen. So laundry on this side, linen space here, and then exiting to the backyard on this side. We have a small activity area. Again, this activity area acts as a passageway to our powder room, bedroom 3 and bedroom 4. So in our powder room, we have a full-size vanity. We've got a feature wall as well with the travertine tiling, which I absolutely love. I think this design's been really popular because it is a classic layout. One thing to note is if you don't like having this activity area, we can easily add this to one of the bedrooms. Adding it to this one is a super easy fix. We can also amalgamate both the powder and the bathroom so we can have them together if you don't want it to be separate. This whole space is very flexible in terms of configuring it to suit your family. So don't be put off if you really, dislike the activity or these feature openings. We can really change this to suit you. It really is a good floor plan and it works well on a 375. Let's head out to the alfresco and we'll talk about what's going on there. Okay, we're in the alfresco now, guys. We've got a stacker door here. So the way to differentiate whether it's a stacker or a sliding door is once we get to this point here, if the next panel starts to move, we've got a stacker door. We can recess the track if you want to. So at the moment they haven't, which is fine. Out here, we've got the recessed plasterboard ceiling to 34 course. The eaves are still at 31. It's a very tight, humble alfresco space. And then where Maddie's standing, we've just got a little bit of AstroTurf. But something to keep in mind with this floor plan, guys, is to check your R code. So the zoning is going to really dictate how big the house can go on the block. If you've got really tight outdoor living area requirements, it may be a bit of a struggle to fit such a big house on this size block. So make sure you talk to your design consultant about whether or not that's suitable before you get your hopes up. Other than that, out here, we've just got a bit of rendered brickwork, feature steel structure here, just adds a bit more detail into the small area. The Melrose Platinum, really easy to understand the flow of the home. I think that's, again, another reason why it is popular. I'm going to talk to you guys about some of my favorite and least favorite things about the home, and we'll talk about pricing. I'm going to cover my 3 favorite points in this home. The first being the width of this passageway. It sounds boring, I know, but you need to understand that when you're designing these homes, they're going to be starting off a standard plan, either your designer plus or luxury plan. This is the platinum plan. So one thing to pay attention to is the width of your passageway leading into a main living area. This has been kept really wide. Here it's about 1100 mil wide, which I think is the minimum for a passageway like this. In your standard floor plans, just pay attention to these areas. One other thing I'm going to point out is if you are planning to add a barn door onto your theatre, which I personally would, you're going to want to accommodate for that as well, because once that's sitting here, this passageway is even going to be narrower, but in the display home, it is the perfect width. My second favorite part about this home is the location of the minor bedrooms. It is really far from the master bedroom, so you do end up with 2 separate living quarters, and I really like that about this floor plan. My third favorite feature in this home is the tiling that they've used on the inside. So you've seen these travertine tiled walls throughout the home, and I think that it's such a nice feature and element added into the house, and it's definitely something that I would consider adding if I were building a new home today. Now for my 3 least favorite items in this home. The first is going to be how open the ensuite is to the master bedroom, with a bed so close to the ensuite and no way of shutting the light and the noise off from the sleeping quarters. For me and the way that I live, that's a big no for me. Let's move on to point number 2. Point number 2 is going to have to be this study nook. It does look really nice in the display home, but for a functional working space, I don't think it's going to be very suitable, especially because it's in the main living area. If it were me, I would either delete this completely so that we've got a bigger living space, or I would simply put it onto the other side so it's in the passageway. My third least favorite item in this home is going to be the activity area, and that is completely a personal preference for me. I would rather put this space into one of the bedrooms and make the minor bedrooms bigger. Other than that, I think it's a fantastic floor plan, and it's definitely something I would consider if I was building on a 12.5 by 30 meter block. So this floor plan has 3 specifications: Designer Plus, Luxury, and also the Platinum spec, which is the house that we're in. 2 of those, the Designer Plus and the Luxury, have associated price tags. They are $380,000 for the Designer Plus and $400,000 for the Luxury. The Platinum doesn't come with a price tag. So if you are looking to build this particular home, you would start from the Luxury and then add all your upgrades in. For something like this, you'd be looking to spend around $620,000 for the build alone to have an exact replica of this display. That's it for today, guys. My name's Jem, and I am a design and building consultant working for Home Group. So if you are looking for some help designing a home, feel free to get in touch with me. My email's in the description below. Thank you for watching this walkthrough video. I'll see you next time.